Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I am bringing you another money making method, another very highly recommended method, and a track that I don't really cover very much, to be honest. I think it's more because of the changing up of the weather and the fact that it's a set timed event. So if you haven't guessed, it will be the Le Mans event, and we're going to be using the Audi Quattro Pikes Peak for this. Now this is probably the best money making method for this track, alongside the Red Bull Junior, which I've already covered before. I believe that was actually my first ever commentary video, so yeah, that's a bit of a throwback now, so that was a good few months ago. Yeah, so this one was really, highly recommended. A lot of people seem to absolutely love this Le Mans event. Me personally, I am not the biggest fan of it, so I kind of avoid it if I can. However, with the sheer amount of people saying, "Oh, this is great at Le Mans," or Le Mans really good for making money, so I thought, you know what? Let me go and find out. So it's actually thanks to Reddit that I got this method pretty much nailed in and smashed down and got this set up for this car. I knew it was very, very good around there, but then I thought, oh, well, is it going to be as good as the Junior? However, yes, very much so. For me, this is now the best car to run at Le Mans, purely because of that, amazing four-wheel drive system this car has. So let's get into it. This car is actually currently in the Legendary dealership recently. However, I believe I got mine from a gold medal event when Gran Turismo 7 first came out. I'm pretty sure that's how I got it. However, if you want to buy it, or you want to buy a fresh one to get a new sort of setting sheet on it without messing around in case you've got permanent upgrades and such, it is 2.150 million. So yeah, bit pricey. However, trust me, you'll quickly earn that money back if you're running it with this method. Here is the setup. Feel free to pause at any point. Make sure you got the racing hard tyres, also buy inters. Make sure your body height adjustment 75/80, 7 and 5 for the anti-roll bar, compression 30/30, expansion 45 and 45, natural frequency 3.5 3.5, camber angle 0.5 0.5, toe angle 0.10 outwards and 0.20 inwards. Initial torque 9 and 12, acceleration sensitivity 9 and 12, braking sensitivity 37/37, front and rear torque distribution 40/60. The top speed, put it up to 270 and make sure you've got the fully customizable racing transmission. ECU output 77, downforce 150 and 160 at the rear. None of this needs touching, you don't need any permanent upgrades. Feel free to pause at any point, like I said. So, like I did hint, this is the track we're going to be using. It's in Europe, and it is going to be the Le Mans 24-hour circuit. So, Le Mans, basically. It'll basically be in a bunch of French writing with a bit of English mixed in. It's the 700 World Touring Car event we are going to be using. So here's the strategy. I ran Power Mix 1. This is purely because you should have the AI set on easy, and you just kind of want to push up through the field and sort of make up as many places as you can. You should actually, with this car, be able to overtake the whole field by around about just over the half point of the lap. I will show you just how quickly you can do this, and I'll also give you a few hints and tips. So this track can rain, and it is very notorious for raining. That is why a lot of people kind of shy away from this, but then a lot of people do love Le Mans for some reason. Personally, I don't like it because I'm limited due to time. To be set at 30 minutes is a little bit frustrating. However, you're going to see what we're going to do at the end that can kind of shorten the amount of time you have to keep going around this track. Whilst it is a fun event, it's also very, very annoying if the rain comes down at the wrong time. Overall, I've only ever had one dry run of this car, and that is when we had the glitched 600 pp Tomahawk available. That is back in the day, that was possible to run, and it was absolutely nuts. So you could kind of sit at the finish line for as long as you really wanted. So, but we've got to be a little bit more, I guess, modest these days and find lots of different cars to kind of take these events on, which is obviously why I do this series. Obviously, if you recommend cars and builds and such, I will kind of go out my way and try and find the best possible build for that car. If I cannot find a build that kind of suits myself, I will make my own. The only reason I go to other people's builds is because a lot of them are already tried and true and, you know, tested. So a lot of the time when I'm kind of making my own sort of tuning builds, it's a lot of hit and miss, and you're running the event multiple times to the point where you finally get the perfect tune for it, and you're just absolutely bored out of your mind because you've run this event 6 times in a row and you just feel a bit fed up. So that is personally why I go for more like, you know, tested builds already that I know are going to kind of work with that car, because each car is individual in this game. You know, nearly every car in this game feels different from another car. So obviously this is naturally a Group B rally car. So should it really be running at Le Mans with Group 4 cars? Not really. However, that's the kind of, you know, method we're going for, is kind of making this a bit better for the road. So as you can see, we're already coming up to the front 3 cars, and obviously we've got the 4-wheel drive system in this car, which really does help out them corners, and especially if the rain does come, which more than likely it will, I'm pretty much doomed to get it at the same time every time, which kind of gave me I guess a bit of a advantage, I guess. Then obviously, yeah, kind of, you know, using that 4-wheel drive to help us get around in the wet is a massive advantage. That's why I would actually recommend this over the Red Bull Junior now. When I've overtook the leader, I've turned it down to fuel mix 6. This car is very, very thirsty in fuel mix 1. However, if you tone it down to fuel mix 6, trust me, you're good to go. This car will last a long, long time. End of lap 2. This is where I'm pretty much cursed to the point where it will rain every time. I saw the rain come in, saw the windscreen wipers going on, and I jumped in the pits. So this is what you want to do. If it starts raining, dive in the pits as soon as possible, put your intermediates on, because you're going to get a good downpouring of rain, and refuel the car to full. So pretty straightforward. However, I'm going to let the pit stop play, especially because coming out of the pits can be very, very awkward. However, I did have this one timed to perfection, which I will basically show you in this video. I made an early call to pit as soon as the rain started coming down. Sometimes you can go for the extra lap. However, I thought, do you know what? It's looking a bit nasty on that radar, as I kept checking it and zooming out. So I thought, that's it, right, I'm jumping in, I'm going to get the fuel in the car, get the inters on, and yeah, it may take some life out of the tyres while the track starts to, you know, wet up, I guess, but I know overall it's going to pay off in the long run. So it can be quite slippy on this pit exit. Just be careful, especially while the AI is coming around, that you don't sort of, you know, smash into them. So lap 3, we have got a decent downpouring coming now. So obviously we've just come out the pits. I'm keeping an eye on that weather radar, and I can see this rain is now really, really close. So I've been watching it on and off throughout the first couple of laps, and then I'm just seeing it coming quite quick now, and it's going to start pouring down. So this is where your intermediate tires are going to come in great. Just be careful, because sometimes the AI, you know, won't pit, and they will get really caught up on dry tires in the wet weather. So all lap 3 is about is kind of working your way back up that grid. Run it at fuel mix 6, no need to run anything else. We're going for a one-stop strategy here. So yep, just make your way up the grid. End of lap 3, and we've picked up a penalty. I'll show you later that will not affect our clean race bonus. Don't worry about that. It's only if you overtake under yellow flags, I believe. However, I'm not too sure if this applies here, but it does apply at the other 2 grinding tracks, I guess. So a bunch of cars are going to start pitting. This is where you're going to pull out your lead. Just be careful, because it seems like this section of the track stays wetter than the rest for a lot longer, and if it starts raining again, it's usually here where it rains, while the rest of the track seems to stay, I guess, kind of dry. Obviously we're on inters, and it's kind of getting more into the wet weather territory, like the bar on the left is saying. For those of you that don't know, that's what it's notifying you of, is how wet the track is. When it gets that final bar and it kind of goes a different shade of blue, you're in wet tyre weather. However, we're just going to hang on. We've got that 4-wheel drive system. We're going to just cruise along and short shift. So just be aware when you are going down this long straight. It happens in almost every car. If it's, you know, quite heavily raining, it will sort of like sway off, you know, side to side. But obviously, like I said, 4-wheel drive is going to come in absolutely handy as hell here. It makes the car much easier to catch when you sort of feel it. You will feel it whether you're on wheel or controller. There's sort of a feeling with the car where it sort of goes basically on ice, and all the weight sort of goes from it. Just be ready to catch it. The main thing I would recommend is just sort of, like I said, short shift, and just very careful on that throttle. So we're going to serve that half a second penalty. I'm just going to prove, obviously, that I've took a penalty and it's not going to affect it at the end. Most people know this by now, however, you know, recently we seem to have a massive influx of new GT7 players. So obviously, welcome to you guys if you're new, if this is your first time trying to make money in this game. Yes, it can be difficult, but that's why I'm here, to basically help you out as much as possible with as many different sort of builds for events as possible. As you can see, at lap 5 we are still at fuel mix 6. However, we have had a secondary downpour. This happens quite often at this event. Sometimes you will only either get no rain, which is very, very rare, or you'll get rain early on and it won't rain again. It'll just dry up and dry up. However, sometimes you will get this where you get a secondary downpour. Same rules apply. Just be careful. As you can see, my car's going side to side, but it's quite easy to sort of keep it going and not slap myself into the barrier. So we're going to go on to our final lap. The back straight is still very, very wet, so I'm just going to kind of, you know, crawl up here. You can see the gap, it's over 2 minutes. That's why I recommend putting the AR on easy, because it's going to come in, you know, very handy at the end. Obviously taking advantage of the grip we've got. We come around onto the last lap and the track is pretty much, you know, nearly dry almost at this point. So we're going to come into the last few corners, and you're going to see that if we go over again, we're going to have to do 7 full laps. However, with our gap, we're not actually going to have to do that. We're going to pull over just before the finish line, so just look out for the finish line and the little man there that'll wave the flag, and just park up. That's all you need to do. We've got a big enough gap, nearly 3 minutes at this point. The AI will pit again, and then obviously when it counts down, just take yourself over the line, and that is going to be the finish. So it saves you going around an extra lap there. Overall, it's kind of obvious. We did it in 30 minutes 1 second because we didn't go round again. We didn't actually get fastest lap because most of the time we're running fuel mix 6. However, you can see even with waiting at the finish, we pulled out a 3 minute 16 gap in the end, and we're going to get a payout of 825k in 30 minutes. That is not too bad, and I know a lot of people love to run Le Mans, and for me this is 100% the best way to run Le Mans. So I just want to take this time to just thank you all, you know, those people that tune in, want to see these different builds. I guess I'm kind of caught in a trap now where this is like my YouTube niche, along with like buyer's guides and such. However, I don't mind. I'm kind of glad to be, you know, able to represent this side of the GT7 community and to, you know, be able to kind of help people, I guess, give the middle finger to Polyphony for the kind of things they did when the game first came out. You know, I don't mind it. I am massively thankful for, you know, you guys that tune in pretty much all the time. I do honestly take notice, and I've honestly so grateful. You know, you've changed my life, I guess, in a way. Even doing YouTube, I've never once made profit because I'm still at that stage of sort of getting equipment and laptops and rigs and such. So honestly, massive thank you to you all for your support. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I hopefully see you all in the next one. Peace, guys. Cheers.